Hey YouTube, what's going on? Let me just hop into it. I wanted to make another video today, and let me just start by saying YouTube, this video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. I hope everyone is doing well. Let's get into the video. So I have mentioned India in 5 of my past videos at some point, I believe, so I wanted to talk about it today. It's going to be a brief, condensed version of everything that happened, but let's just get into it. So going back to April of 2023, I wanted to pursue my dreams of becoming an actor. The previous fall, during September, late September going into October, I had the opportunity and I got to go to New York, stayed with a family friend, made some connections, and she basically said, whenever you want to move out here, you can. I gave a phone call in April asking, hypothetically, if I packed all my stuff today, could I stay with you? And then gave a plan of when I would move out based off of me making friends, finding a place, and then if I couldn't, being back in Colorado come what would be that school year, some point in August or September if they start in September over there. She then let me know that there wasn't a place for me to stay anymore, which, came out of the blue considering each month leading up to you have a place to stay. But in that moment, I felt crushed and I didn't know what to do. But my career path in my mind began to start changing. I just started really thinking about it. Okay, well, what am I going to do with theater here? What am I going to do with acting here? What am I going to do with the arts? Because I love the arts. I'm an art kid. I just love being creative and feel the need to get what I'm feeling inside, outside, in the form of maybe a dance or theater show, writing something, poetry. I love it all. And I believe it's needed for our world to heal, because sometimes you can find those healing, what you need through words, but other times you don't need words, and it's just as impactful. And I just wanted to do something to help with that change in our world. But after everything, I just started refocusing, how can I still potentially help heal this corrupted world and just add more light into it with ideally my job, instead of doing my job to feel alive on the weekends or during my free time when I'm doing this thing that I absolutely love and I feel fulfills more of my purpose. So after that, I kept coming back to yoga, because during 2021 I came across a video speaking about self-hate, and because I was struggling with it. I mean, that's why I got into therapy, and it was definitely healing. And the whole reason that happened was because of that first astral projection experience of seeing myself lost in a negative identity. And I began just processing what yoga had done for me so far in my bedroom or when I'd gone outside to do it. And it just kept coming back and back and back in my mind. So I'm just going to throw out rough random dates. I know this happened at the start of May, but let's just say May 8th. So May 8th, I officially came to the conclusion I wanted to do yoga. Or I mean, a little prior to that, and I began researching schools, going through it, looking at pricing. So I shared with my parents that night. Something just told me I kept bouncing back and forth. Should I share it with my parents? Should I not? Should I share it? Should I not? And I decided to share it. I was like, why not? By this point in my relationship with them, I had reached a high enough level not to, I can't say fully trust, well, yeah, fully trust with some of my hopes and dreams, just based off of things that have happened in the past. But I told myself in that moment, get over your ego. These are your parents. They might die tomorrow. So I sucked it up and I told them on the phone. My mother was, happy, and she brought up how she has this family friend. She has a friend. It's not family friend, but she has this friend in India, and she could go check out the school and stuff and see if it's, legit. And I'm looking at the website being like, I know it's legit. I've looked at a bunch, and this is the most legit one that fits the type of experience that I want to have. And she just kept pressing me about getting her friend to be able to view the place. And then I was not reserved. What's the word I'm looking for? I didn't verbally press against that wish of hers immediately, but I didn't accept it either. There was a clear want on my end that I didn't want that to happen. And then she got angry and went about trying to get what she wanted through changing the sound of her voice and not scolding me, but the tone was completely different. And it just brought me into a place of feeling like my arm is being twisted. And I don't like this feeling, so I'm gonna give in. I gave in, and it's now to me also based off of, again, working in therapy, viewing my own behavioral patterns with my parents, specifically my mom, and how that has been harmful to me and what I have wanted in life and what I wanted to go after. But I gave in, and that was the end of the call, and she said, well, I'll get in touch with her, she'll get in touch with you, da-da-da-da-da. That night, let's say this was on May 8th, I have an experience in the Astrals, and I'm running through this building. I didn't know where I was, and there's this man, chasing after me, and then running in front of me, and I'm trying to get towards him, and I didn't know why. And this man he's Caucasian, really pointy nose, just looks like one of the characters from an animated TV show that's mischievous and getting up to absolutely no good. And I just kept trying to get away, and this man kept pushing me and pushing me and pushing me. And then I looked back, and there was this sound like rushing water, but it wasn't water, it was energy. Once the stakes started to become heightened in this simulation that my consciousness, a part of my consciousness, was in. And after I looked back, ready to, stand up for myself and essentially do the same thing, to him, at least defend my temple, if he wanted to come at me again, then I'm going to do something. He then disappeared out of my view, and there were these two goddesses, these two black women, one with the weave, the other with braids, short, that just looked at me like, how dare you? What the hell are you doing? You're not meant to react that way. You're the slave in this situation. And then after that, the energy just kept rushing and going and going and going. And that was that. And then I started walking through the area more, and a plane just took off. And then the entire environment started changing, and I had a whole different experience right after that. And I'm seeing people, putting in these codes into this computer, into this device that I believe is a computer in the astrals that is having an effect on what I am seeing and what is being brought into existence in this space based off of the codes that they are putting in. So after that, I applied, and I was hoping to go on August 1st, for the course start date to be on August 1st. That's when I wanted to be there, and I did the 2-month course. I applied for the 2-month course, so be there August 1st, leave September 28th, and be back in Colorado, come October. And over the course of these next 2 months, when my mother's friend is messaging me, just talking about, oh, you're gonna have so much fun, da 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 da, I get a message from the school, and the school sends me my acceptance letter after I applied for August 1st, and I get that confirmation in my email. I get a message from them saying, congratulations, we're so excited to have you, da da da. The course start date is October 1st. And I'm like, wait a minute. I did August 1st. So then I get in touch with them, just thinking it's a mistake, not thinking too much of it, and that it can be quickly fixed. So they're like, oh, we're so sorry, we apologize, da 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 da, let's see what we can do. And I spoke with someone, and then they were like, okay, perfect, we're sending the new information your way. Same exact letter, start date, October 1st. So now I'm thinking, okay, this isn't a coincidence. If y'all didn't have any room, why did you accept my application for August 1st? Give me confirmation for August 1st. If there's no room, that's okay, just say that. And I can either wait till the following year or make the decision if I want to go for the October 1st start date. And then someone else got involved and we're like, we're so sorry, we don't know, why this keeps happening. And then they brought someone else in to fix the issue. And after that, I got the August 1st start date letter. Third time's the charm, right? And it's May, June, July, August. So my course date that I wanted to be in was 3 months out. Just pay attention to the 3, the 6, and the 9. That's all I have to say. If you got carbon in your skin, pay attention. It's being used daily. You are either aware of it or you're not. How those numbers affect these situations and outcomes, I don't have that full answer. I just know it's a part of the equation because I keep hearing it, and then stuff happens in a way that is not ideal for me, that works against me. Instead of flowing with the current, I'm flowing against the current. And those numbers are always a part of that situation. One of them. So I get the start date, and then I'm happy, and I share with my, parents that, there was a weird fluke that I got October a couple times. So I'm still working at this warehouse in June, and then I end up leaving in early July. I get all my stuff ready, and I'm supposed to fly on July 29th. And my father and mother tell me, there was, for whatever reason, an issue with setting up the transportation shuttle to come pick you up in the AM. Instead of you being there, 2 hours early, you're going to have to be there 3 hours early. So you're going to have to be outside and ready for your pickup at 2 a.m., even though the flight that I was going to get was a domestic flight instead of an international flight. And I was just like, okay, I was really excited. I wasn't disappointed by that, and I didn't think too much of it. But again, it was just a part of the situation, so I'm sharing. I then walk outside my house, and my mother keeps talking to me, and she keeps bringing up these numbers in various ways, specifically the 3 and the 6 in conversation. I just thought it was weird. It was like the only thing coming out of her mouth. That's why it stood out to me. Never before have I experienced a conversation like that with her, at least not to my conscious memories. And that's why, again, it stood out to me. While I'm outside, our neighbor across the street, at 2 a.m. in the morning, I see in the window a flash goes off. And I guess they took a picture. That's what I believe happened, is that they took a picture of the two of us. And I'm just like, what are you doing up at 2 a.m. in the morning, in the a.m., just taking a picture of my mom and I waiting for this damn shuttle to arrive? So she didn't notice it, and if she did, she didn't say anything. And then we were just outside waiting, talking, then the shuttle arrived, and she was like, oh, you're gonna have so much fun, da 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 da. And I get on the shuttle, and that was the first time in my life, I shared this with my best friend here in Colorado, where I was the only carbonated being on that bus. And I felt unsafe. I've been in situations before where I've been the only one that looks like this in a room, on a bus, plane, even not on a plane, but in certain situations where I felt fine. But that was the first time in my life where I felt completely and utterly unsafe. unsafe. Why? I think it was just a part of the whole show, and my energy body was picking up on it. So I go down, reach the Denver International Airport, and I'm then moving and to go to the right, gate and whatever, and it says on the monitor about my after I check in my visa, and I was like, oh dang, I didn't get one. I didn't apply for one. So then they ushered me somewhere else, and then this carbonated woman with short hair, a weave, ended up ushering me to a different spot. Someone then tried helping me, and after however long, 20 minutes, less than 40, they then said, oh, we can't get you one for today, but maybe for a few days out. So I was just really bummed and upset and pissed that wasn't something that was, that one, I didn't think about, but I'm just going to be honest, more importantly, my parents didn't share with me. To give a little backstory, I was adopted by 2 Americans. My mother is from Colorado, my dad's from Chicago. My father works for the State Department, always has for as long as I've known him. He was retired after I graduated university and then chose to hop back into work. Will not be my story. But he, the point I'm making with that is that he's always traveling. He did contract work where it was a term, so he'd be in a country for 2 years and then would need to go to a different country, and we would go with him for work, but that would include him getting a new visa, him getting a visa for that country. And then after I graduated high school in 2016, he then started traveling more places where he needed a visa. After I graduated university in 2020, he still had was going to places and territories in the world that required a visa. And my father, his memory, he just needs to see a place and have an experience like that, and he remembers it. If I went back to any country that we lived in, he'd be able to go wherever he wanted based off of the memory of him being there. He wouldn't need to look at a map, and he wouldn't need a GPS. And if there were any changes to that environment, he'd be able to say, well, there used to be this here and that here, this here and that here. I know a handful of people are able to do that if they've grown up in an area predominantly for most of their life. But my father, he's just been bopping to state, to country, from one continent to the other. And that's just always been something that he has been gifted with. So I know he didn't forget, and I caught him anyway, some things with him and my mother where they were trying to keep me out of that space. And then, I got in the vehicle and I went back to my mother's house. So I'm really upset and bummed, but I was like, you know what, this isn't going to kill me, and I'm going to be able to go still. So I then applied for the visa, and that, I applied on this one site after my mom was like, try this website. Again, both of them, they're 60 plus. My father's damn near 70. They know what a proper, visa website looks like. I'm green to this. I've been the one who's had the privilege of being able to follow them as a child, and they're the one that does this stuff. But she then suggested this other website. The website was bogus. It was a fake visa, and I lost out on some cash. But going back to more of the magic, after I ended up changing websites, and I found one that I was initially going to use, and then I changed it after listening to her. Again, it was out of fear, but that was just where I was that day, and I have become more aware of my behavior patterns around both of them after this past year specifically. But I then ended up using this website after she got in touch with a friend. She was like, I don't know why I didn't think of my friend that literally works for, you know, the visa people. And I'm like, I don't know why either. I couldn't tell you. But she got in touch with me, and I got in touch with her, and then she sent me the website, and it was the same one that I found initially. So then I got on there, and the weird thing is, this is now a couple weeks into August, and I tried filling out the information for where I would be staying, the address of the people I'd be staying with, the school, da 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 da, and I'd hit next on the page, and it just would refresh that same page. The website would not allow me to go to the next page, regardless of what I was doing. And so I emailed them, I got in contact with them on the phone, I tried WhatsApping the people and calling the people that I was going to be staying with. I talked to my father, I talked to my mother, I talked to my brother. Nobody could provide me an answer as to why that was happening. And the visa people just did not respond to my email. The second thing that happened after, you know, a week of that happening and it just not going through, I then reached the next page, and it was the same sort of situation. It was asking questions if I've ever been prosecuted, gone to jail, etc., committed a felony. No. I hit next, and the page refreshes and then changes the first answer about if I've ever been convicted or gone to jail to yes. And at the bottom it says if you lie, you know, about any of this information, then they have the right to follow up accordingly. Most likely, you know, me not going to jail, but me not being able to get my visa and being able to travel. And so that was just made clear to me that there were definitely forces at work that did not want me to go. And that's what happened. And the thing that by this point that I remembered was that those two carbonated women in the airport, who the first one that helped me with the weave, and then once I left the desk table and I was waiting for my shuttle to go back to my parents' house, they were just staring at me. The one with braids down to about here, chunky braids, she was about 5'8", and the other one with the weave was about 5'10", short bob weave cut, you know, right down here. They were both just staring at me, and they were whispering to each other. But they made sure to hold the focus with me for about, and I'm not kidding, for about a minute. And then all of a sudden, after that minute passed, and then the one on this side, and it was in that moment that I then started to remember that I'd seen these faces before. And it was those two women that I saw in the Astrals that night on May 8th when I was getting pushed by this man. And they then looked at me like, boy, what are you doing? So that's a summed up version, I believe. Yep. Because the second page didn't go through after I tried doing that for a while, and then I just was so fed up I didn't even want to go anymore. Mainly because something inside me was saying, if there's been this much manipulation already, it's gonna be a whole different type of learning experience, and it was ruined, you know, for me. I didn't even want to go anymore. But what happened needed to happen in regards to this grand scheme of things of us getting out of this matrix. And, you know, the person that was pushing me in that airport was, I believe still to this day, a Rothschild. For those that don't know, that's one of the names of one of these 13 ruling bloodlines that have been here since we fell in frequency. And the two carbonated women, you know, they were a part of that simulation. And then I saw them in real life, like here in the physical. So that's how I know it was just more than a green accident of me not knowing about a visa, of my parents forgetting about a visa, and then it just being, poor luck, and we genuinely don't know what's going on with the visa website, of me having roadblock after roadblock after roadblock, where the page would not continue to the next one. So I literally could not get a visa. And stuff changed later on in September, or it was the very end of August, and I just said, I know I'm not gonna get this visa before what would be the appropriate start date for October. I got that letter for a reason, twice. And yeah, that was the whole experience. Summed up, shorter version, but if there's one thing I learned from that, pay attention to your dreams, y'all. There's stuff going on every single night. There are instances, I'm sure, that you have had here in this physical where you may just have a bad day. You may have a day where you feel like, wow, I really just lost today. I don't know what happened. Yes, take responsibility for your actions. At the same time, there may be instances where a part of your consciousness is being manipulated in the astrals so that there can be more negative energy produced from you as a being that is still connected to source. You don't need other people to feel negative in order for you to feel charged up. These beings who reside in the astrals, these beings who are part of the dead, these beings that chose to be disconnected, need the energy from those who are connected in order to stay alive. So that's bottom line why that experience happened, with the goal for me to be disappointed, upset, frustrated, angry, mad, etc. So those in power who did what they wanted to get that desired effect, they got what they wanted, just not in the way that they wanted it, because that's when the energy started reaching the heart chakra, approaching that area, and I just started to choose to move different and let things go that were completely and utterly out of my control. I did everything I could, and I can't hold resentment and anger. I allowed myself to be angry and let it pass through me, but to hold a grudge, what is that going to do? Absolutely nothing. So yes, that was the infamous India experience that I talked about. I still have not gone. I most likely will not be going, and I'm okay with that. But I did just want to make this video. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you for watching. Again, pay attention to your dreams. What are you experiencing? What are you feeling? If you aren't experiencing and remembering now, I promise you, next month is going to be something, and then each month after that, it's just going to get more intense, hopefully in a good way. I believe we are moving to a time of peace, but in order for that to happen, we all need to remember what's really going on and then make the active choice. Are we going to continue to be enslaved in this way, or are we going to pull away and choose to create a new reality based off of love and freedom for every single one of us? So I'm going to end this video now. Thank you for watching, and I send peace, courage, divine cosmic love, and protection to every single Anunnaki goddess and Anunnaki god who is on their journey of remembering who they are and remembering their divinity.